see, but they are. So be careful about some of these products, particularly things like the broccoli. You might want to steer yourself towards the organic section of your grocer. The problem with the organics is that the pricing. The grocers take advantage of offering these organics, but hiking the prices up in a way that makes them, you know, inaccessible to a lot of people. And quite frankly, oftentimes when something is said to be organic, there isn't much difference between that and the so-called regular version of it. So think about that. The term organic is kind of nebulous right now because there aren't a lot of laws in place to ensure that when a company or a produce provider says that something is organic, that they meet certain standards in order to call themselves organic. We don't have a lot of laws in that direction, but there's strong efforts to try to do that. But you can check out. There's one group, just to give you a little extra, resource here. There is a group called the Environmental Working Group, the EWG. They're an organization that advocates for these policies that I'm talking about, involving organics, and they do research, and they have a shopper's guide to pesticides in produce, and it gives an annual list of the most pesticide-ridden kinds of foods. And these are the foods that you should try to, if you can, either grow them yourself or find organic versions, or even if it's not organic versions, if you can shop locally, get local farmers market versions of these things, they're going to be a lot better than if you get them from major marketers. So things like cherries, tomatoes, potatoes, and celery, spinach, strawberries, which we talked about, nectarines, all of these things can be grown with a lot of pesticides, and that can really have a strong effect on your health. And especially if you are a woman and you're pregnant, they can really cause some negative have a negative impact on your health and the health of the newborn. So there you go. Some things to think about to keep your immune system boosted. We'll talk more about our wellness throughout the winter. I think maybe next week we'll talk about some of those breathing techniques you can talk about or try to add into your routine, and we'll give you some more of the latest research. But now I want to talk about, before I have to wrap here, I want to talk about this future of healthcare, because it's really exciting. And it might not seem to be from where we are right now, but what research and some of the technologies that are developing seem to show is that the future of healthcare will finally see an end to all permanent and preventable physical injuries and mental disorders. I know that sounds crazy, but it's apparently quite possible. I'll read that again. Future of healthcare will finally see an end to all permanent and preventable physical injuries and mental disorders. Now, the healthcare system today is is a hot mess, as they say. Lots of bureaucracy, uh, under-resourced. Rather than being proactive, it's reactive in many ways, unless you have a good wellness program in place and a doctor who advocates for those things. It's often, particularly in the United States, it often lags behind in the latest technology, and it doesn't really understand the needs of patients. The whole person approach still, although it's much better than it has been and continues to grow, it still is not a standard procedure, when it comes to, healthcare and healthcare providers. But these disciplines are growing, as I said, and science and technology are increasing. So they are predicting, many people are predicting that we will see a point where there are real breakthroughs made that will achieve and advance human health. The question is, how much access will people have to these things? But just to give you some of these items that we'll see breakthroughs in. One area is in the area of human blood. There's a very high demand for human blood throughout the world for a variety of reasons. People who suffer from blood disorders, people who are in accidents or get involved in some of these crises in many countries, whether it be earthquakes or tsunamis, all of these sort of events that can cause life-threatening accidents. There's a strong need for blood. And so generally, the demand for blood seems to overrun the supply. Not enough donors, or not enough donors with specific blood types. But there is a breakthrough coming through: synthetic blood. Synthetic blood is blood that can be produced in a lab and is compatible with all blood types and can be stored at room temperature for up to 2 years. And now, once the development of this, which is now in the testing stages, once it's approved and can be used for wide-scale human use, it could be stockpiled in hospitals and ambulances and in emergency areas around the world, and it will be something that can save lives. So that's a really exciting development and breakthrough. Now, here's something for those of you who have trouble sticking to an exercise program. We know it helps your cardiovascular health. It can help you with your overall health, weight, diabetes, all of those things. But some people aren't able to engage in forms of exercise due to varying conditions. And that lack of exercise can really have an effect on the heart. And that could have some very dangerous side effects. So, for these people, there is a new drug being tested, which is basically exercise in a pill. These drugs are supposedly able to stimulate enzymes charged with regulating your metabolism and endurance and encouraging a rapid burning of stored fat and overall cardiovascular conditioning. And once this is approved, it could help a lot of people lose weight and improve overall health. And also for those who just aren't able to stick to an exercise routine, this will be very helpful. Now, cancer is beginning to decline throughout the world by 1% per year since 1990, and it shows no signs of stopping that decline. So that's terrific news. There's better technologies, radiology, faster diagnosis, and falling smoking rates too, which are helpful in keeping this down. But now there are some groundbreaking drug treatments, cancer vaccines, and immunotherapy, which may hasten the end of cancer altogether. One of the promising new techniques is, which has already been approved apparently, where devastating viruses like herpes and HIV are re-engineered to target and kill cancer cells, while also training the body's immune system to attack the cancer. So these therapies will largely eliminate cancer deaths, and the prediction is that by 2050, cancer deaths will be largely eliminated. Incredible stuff, right? So now, let's talk about the healthcare experience, which many people find frustrating. But there are advances in this area too that will really improve that experience. There are initiatives planned to combat future deadly epidemics and pandemics, as well as the growing threat of resistance to antibiotic treatments. New drug research is growing, and production will hopefully grow too. Reading and editing genes may someday produce drugs and treatments that are tailored to each person's unique DNA. So these are some of the things that will be changing in the future, and will help to improve health overall. So, as I said, there's a lot of information here. So, yeah, we're going to come back to this topic and talk more about each of these issues in which there's a real change afoot in healthcare. So, it's just really fascinating. It's just really fascinating stuff, and I don't have time to get into it all since we have to wrap up. But till then, stay away from those sugary sodas, and give yourself the space and the encouragement and the time to achieve your goals for the new year. Till next time, stay well.